Hello, Homo sapiens. Welcome back to the book of microbiology by Prescott and Haley, the authors of them. And we are currently at page 34 or 35, and we already went through the history of microbiology in quite detail. Like we are on day 11, so you can guess, and the videos are 1 hour. Wait. What is this buffering happening? So, yes, let's do this. Let's enlarge it, and yeah. So we are studying about the microbiology. So of course the first thing that comes to mind, like, why are we studying the microbiology? What's its purpose? Like, where in the world do we use the microbiology? And scope covers that. I think usually people click on the scope of microbiology videos. I did that in my starting ages of studying microbiology as well. Like, I was searching if there was any jobs available. Like, we see scope as a job opportunities. So but in this we are not going to cover directly that. Like, for it to become a job, it has to have some applications and roles in the other fields. And so we are going to cover them one by one, and how it became involved in the other roles that we see. Like here in the diagram you can see food microbiology, medical, vaccine, agriculture, genetic engineering, industries, geochemical, and what is this, exomicrobiology, ecology. Like, this is just a diagram implicating that, yeah, that these are the roles that the microbiology plays, right? So let's go back and see who was the first one, or who was the starter of. Like, I think Pasteur's coach and all of these scientists played the role. Like, the starting was with the diseases, right? So that means the starting of the microbiology was in the medical field. But as we moved further, and then it went towards the industrial microbiology, like, fermentation, and then the sterilization, then we went towards the vaccine development and things like that. So we are going to study the scope, but not in the perspective of just the job. We are going to see what fields are there that needs microbiology, and how is that related to that. So we are going to cover how much, this side and that, and yeah. So just this paragraph before the future of microbiology, right? Let's go. Studying, wait, I can't drag it for some reason. Yeah, is this large enough? Yeah. So the topic is the scope and relevance of microbiology, right? As the late scientist writer Stephen Jay Gould emphasized, we live in the age of bacteria. The late scientist writer Stephen Jay Gould, I don't know what is this. What the scientist is, he emphasized we live in the age of bacteria. Wait. Guys, I am a little bit slow at the start, and I need to search everything I see. So who is this Stephen, and what era did he live? Stephen and age of microbiology. Timing. I need to know what he is talking about. All. Sorry, the age of bacteria. Why did I write the microbiology? My mind is stuck there. What period is the age of bacteria? About 3.5 billion years ago. What? No, this is not what we are talking about. The Stephen Jay Gould. Stephen, let me write the full name. Stephen J. Gould. Gould. How do you pronounce it actually? American paleontologist and evolutionary biologist, and he is a writer in 1989, 1980. Okay, so he was around the 1000th era. Okay, I thought he was some kind of ancient scientist. This is how it looks like. So, as a late scientist writer, Stephen Jay Gould emphasized, we live in the age of bacteria. Okay, I think at this time the bacteria were discovered very rapidly, like we have studied in the history. They were the first living organisms on our planet and live virtually everywhere the life is possible. That is completely true. They live even inside our body and even the atmosphere and the air that we breathe. Furthermore, the whole biosphere depends on their activities, and they don't just live, they work, and we are dependent on them. They influence the human society in countless ways. I think the whole microbiology will teach us what ways are they involved in the influencing of human society. The whole book is left, so don't worry, we are going to read that. Because microorganisms play such diverse roles, modern microbiology is a large discipline with many different specialties. It has a great impact on the fields such as medicine, agriculture, and food. And what happened to this page? Alright, food sciences, ecology, genetics, biochemistry, molecular biology. Wait. Medicines, as we know, disease related, plant related, food related, ecology, environment related, genes, yeah, the whole life is involved. Biochemistry, chemicals involved, but the chemicals related to the living organisms, or that is, the organism use or is made up of. Molecular biology involves the cell biology, the genetics, and everything on the micro level, right? One indication of the importance of microbiology is the Nobel Prize given for the work in the physiology or medicine. So they are saying that what indicates the importance of microbiology, and they are saying that is the Nobel Prize. Like giving Nobel Prize is a very huge thing. I think we studied this Nobel Prize here and there, so how about it's time we search as what the heck is actually Nobel Prize. Let's go. Is a series of annual awards given to a people who have made outstanding contribution to the world. Contributions. The prize are named after the Alfred Nobel, a Swedish inventor and industrialist who established the awards in his will. I see. So this is given to the people who made outstanding contributions to the world. Alright, so this is very selective. Like usually people do contribute to the world, it's in a smaller way or whatever way, but these are only for the people that made huge contributions. So for the work in physiology or medicines, so I think the first Nobel Prize, or they didn't specify what kind of work actually was done in the physiology and medicine, so let's leave it at that. About one third of these have been awarded to the scientists working on microbiology problems. See, wait, give me a second. Right, about third of these have been awarded to the scientists working on microbiology problems. So they are saying the total of the Nobel Prizes, the third part, this is the huge part, like only one is left, and that is all related to the microbiological problems. Like it is, I think, related to the disease or the problematic bacteria rather than their normal working, right? So because the microbes that caused problems, caused very much problems to the humans. A large population was affected by them. That's why they deserve more Nobel Prizes than the ones that is being beneficial to humans, because humans usually overlook the things, or they just don't like to. give credit to the positive work, and when the negative work is uplifted from them, then they see it as something. So microbiology has both the basic and applied aspects. So they are talking about the basic microbiology and the applied microbiology, like the basic fields and the applied fields. So the basic concepts are concerned with the biology of microorganisms themselves and include such fields as bacteriology, virology, mycology, phycology, or algaeology. So I have video about it. So these are just the general study, right? What is bacteria, how they work, how are they made. So these are the basic, like you need to know these kind of things to go towards the applied aspect of the microbiology. So mycology, this is written in the bracket, the study of fungi, phycology or algaeology, the study of algae. Protozoology, protozoans. The microbial cytology, they are talking about the cells of the microbes, and this includes all the microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, and algae, etc. Actually, virology doesn't come under the category of microorganisms. Viruses don't. They have the separate kingdom, like separate field, acellular life, right? Acellular. So where is it? Where are we? Physiology, microbial genetics. Okay, physiology, this is the working mechanism of the microbes, right? The things like the functioning of the organs. They don't have organs, but they do have organelles, like I think fungi. No, yeah, they just have organelles. So microbial genetics, the molecular biology, microbial ecology, the microbes involved in the environment, microbial taxonomy, and the all microorganisms that we studied, how did we classify them, name them. So that comes under this. These are all just the basic microbiology. Then the applied aspects are concerned with the practical problems such as diseases, water, waste treatment, food spoilage, food production, industrial use of microbes, guys. So when we move from this chapter, we are definitely going towards the practical problems, right? So disease comes the first, actually, because yeah, started with the disease. Water and wastewater treatment, that is coming towards second, and the food spoilage and food production, and then the industries, right? Like this all revolves around the microorganisms. Water and the food, that they are big, factors in the microbes involvement, because food provides the nutrients, and anywhere you see food there will be microorganisms. And for the water and wastewater, it's because of the contamination by the dirt and the soil, organic matter and things like that. So they also have food, you can consider that food. So that's why there are microorganisms there as well. And yeah, disease, yeah, of course they attack the specific types of organisms. Then it is important to note that the basic and applied aspects of microbiology are intertwined. Yeah, so they are connected to one another, the basic and the applied. They are not separate things. If you know the basic, then you can go towards the applied. And if you are studying applied, like you are automatically using the basic knowledge do you have. So they are not different, just we categorize them into action and the studying type, right? This is the studying research type, just simply studying type, while this one is the action type, action to the problem. Basic research is often conducted in applied fields and application. Yeah. Like, how will you study a bacteria if you are not going to work on it, right? Like that comes under the applied field. Then if you are going to do something to the bacteria to study, like morphology, studying under the microscope, often arises out of the basic research. Yeah, so they are saying basic research is conducted in applied field, while the application often arises from the basic research. Yeah, you are studying a bacteria and then you suddenly found something that you didn't know that they were doing, and that's how you found out an application of the bacteria. It's exactly the same as the Alexander Fleming discovered the antibiotic for the first time by fungi, and that was penicillin, which was released and was killing the bacteria that he was growing. So he was doing the basic research on the fungi, penicillium, but then he found out its application, that is penicillin, the antibiotic. Like he was doing the basic research, but he found out the application. A discussion of some of the major fields of microbiology and the occupations they provide follows. So this they are saying, like, we are studying the scope of microbiology, right? So we are going to cover some major fields of microbiology and the occupations they provide. And here is the job, that people search about. So one of the most active and important fields in microbiology is the medical microbiology, exactly, because this is given priority, because humans need this. This is needed for the human survival. That's why it's given priority and is being researched the most, which deals with the disease of humans and animals. Medical microbiologists identify the agents causing the infectious diseases, right, and plant measures for their control and eliminations. So medical microbiologists not just identify the agents that cause the infectious diseases. Oh, sorry, not plant. And the infectious diseases not only, I think, covers humans. They have more diseases that are like plant diseases or anything else that is related to humans. And then they plan measures to control and then elimination. So they all comes under the medical microbiology. Microbiology study the infectious agent, and then, like, the basic research is they study it, and then the applied side is they plan measures for their control and elimination. For control, there can be multiple factors, like, which we call it biostatic, and the biocidal. So biocidal is the antibiotics that kills the microbes, while biostatic is the one that controls, like, that stops the growth of microorganisms for the period of time that you are giving the biostatic. I just wanted to include these two terminologies because they are, like, normal in medical microbiology. So frequently they are involved in tracking down new unidentified pathogens, such as the agents that cause variant Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, the human version of mad cow disease. The first mad cow disease, was in the cow, while this one is in the human. So they don't just study the infectious agents that are already discovered. They also search for the agents that are causing diseases but are not studied. So we call them unidentified pathogens. The hantavirus, so the West Nile virus. So these are viruses, right? I think this one's prion. Like, this is not even bacteria. Yeah, I think this is prion. Prion, guys, do you know what prion is? Wait, let me search if I'm right first. Is Creutzfeldt, what spelling is am I writing? Whatever. Jacob disease due to prion. And let's see, guys, ignore the noise background. Yeah, just ignore it, okay? CJD appears to be caused by an abnormal infection protein called prion. Yeah, exactly. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is actually caused by prion, and this protein is infectious protein, right? This is just so unidentifiable. Like, this is not even the bacteria or the viruses. Ever heard of viroid? Viroid is the opposite of prion, and that has only genetic material that is causing disease, like no coating, nothing, no protein involved, no enzyme involved, just the genetic material that causes the diseases are viroid, while this one is prion. This is just the protein part, right? And they are saying they multiply. Their infectious mechanism is multiplication of their prions. They turn the normal proteins into their infectious proteins, like the proteins that don't work fine. So they turn they are, the poison, like the poison that affects the surrounding area as well. So they infect and the normal protein as well and change them into the infectious protein, which is prions. So the scientists are still working on that because nervous system is so vast and its control is probably big deal. So hantavirus, wait, what does hantavirus do? Let me search a quick. Hantavirus. By the way, don't worry if you think you are forgetting like things because I am moving so slow. We are going to summarize it everything in the end. A serious illness caused by hantavirus, family of virus spread by rodents. Serious illness. I know it's a serious illness, but what does it affect? The virus can cause pulmonary syndrome. Okay, so it is involved in the lungs. And hemorrhagic fever. Oh, so they destroy blood as well. With the renal syndrome, the kidney as well. Yeah, of course. Like if they cause trouble to the blood cells, so it's related to the renal as well, since it filters out that blood, and are not spread from the person to person. Like, I'm not diving deep because this is not what we are studying right now. West Nile disease. Do we have to go through it one by one? West Nile disease, right? Is an illness that is spread through mosquito bites. It causes symptoms like fever, rash. Encephalitis, meningitis. No symptoms or only mild flu-like symptoms. The virus can cause limiting illness. There is no vaccine. Like, oh my god. Like, I need to study about their pathogenesis because I don't care about their symptoms. Followed by the spread of lymph nodes and the bloodstream. Okay, this is what I'm asking, right? They infect the lymph node and the bloodstream. Like, they are all dangerous types. Virus responsible for SARS, and this SARS is related to the SARS-CoV-19 that we were, caused troubles in 2019. Guys, can you believe this? Can you believe this? This book is not written in 2019. This went before that. I'm not completely sure what date it is, but the history we have is till 2005. But they are involving this SARS. I think there is something planned with this SARS, so that's why it's the whole group of the microbes. Like, this is not just the one viruses. So these microbiologists also study the ways in which microorganisms cause disease, right? Right. Wait. So they study each and everything from the microorganisms to how it causes disease and how it can be stopped. So this is the medical microbiology. Now the another field which we can relate microbiology is to public health microbiology. It's closely related to medical microbiology, but in medical microbiology we are not, that directly related to the population, while in this they concerned about the population. So public health microbiologists try to identify and control the spread of communicable disease. So they are involved in the communicable disease. Communicable diseases are those kinds of diseases or infections that can be transferred from one person to another, either through direct contact or through the aerosols, air particles in the air, or through mosquito or any kind of vectors. So they only are targeting the communicable disease because it affects the large population density. They often monitor the community food establishment, and usually, the food and water are the big sources of their spread. So they monitor the food establishments and the water supplies in an attempt to keep them safe and free from the infectious diseases agents. And now we have immunology. It's concerned with how the immune system protects the body from pathogen and response of the infectious agents. So general immunology, if you don't talk about the microorganisms, include each and everything by which our immune system activates, right? But as a microbiologist, we focus, the large part is due to microorganisms. Immunology is a specific defense created to defend our body against not just the pathogens, the living pathogens, but also against the allergens or some foreign particles. So it covers a lot more area than you can think about. So, for example, techniques for the production and use of monoclonal antibodies have developed extremely rapidly. So, the first part that we studied how the immune system protects the body from the pathogen response. This is the basic side of microbiology, right? But the second, the example that we said is the application side of the microbiology. That is the monoclonal antibodies. Monoclonal antibodies is you take one type of antibody, like for example your antibody is for influenza, and then you clone it. Clone it means you replicate it, duplicate it over and over again, and they are all similar. So you take one antibody and develop it into multiples of the same shape, size, working, everything. So that's why it's monoclonal. Mono means you took one antibody, clonal means you cloned it, and have developed extremely rapidly. Yeah, so the people that can develop the antibodies, and this is a one form of immunity you give to the people. You directly provide the antibody for the infectious cases, and yeah, they are protected. Then immunology also deals with the practical health problems such as nature and treatment of, yeah, like I'm saying, it's not just the basic side of microbiology. It's mostly related to the practical, and again they are not related to just pathogens, they are also related to allergies and the autoimmune disease. Autoimmune diseases are the diseases that in which your immune system target your own cells, like they can differentiate if this is your cell or if this is your foreign cells. And these autoimmune diseases are actually pretty damaging because for no reason your immune system starts attacking your cells and destroys one by one. And the only treatment I can think of it right now is the antihistidines. Like histidine is mostly related to the inflammation in the immune system, like activation of the macrophages and etc. So if you stop the antihistidine, like if you stop the attachment of histidines to the nervous system, no, yeah, immune system or something, that can stop the autoimmune diseases. Like it suppresses your immune attack, like immune action, it suppresses your immune action, and in turn the autoimmune disease can be controlled. Like there is eczema, the facial, yeah, the face autoimmune disease, and in this your whole own body attacks the your your face, right, your face cells, and it destroys your layer. So in this case you are given the steroid, corticosteroid, or what do you call it, yeah, a cream or topical cream you are given, and when you put it on your face it kind of stops the immune action in that area. And they are saying one of the autoimmune disease is rheumatoid arthritis, and this is bone related, right? Arthritis are bone related. So let me again search it. I am not sure if I have clear knowledge about this. Yeah, a long-term autoimmune disease that cause joint inflammation. Exactly, like bone means I mean joint inflammation. Exactly, if this is autoimmune disease, they cause mostly inflammation. Inflammation is the first response for your autoimmune diseases, and it can also affect other parts including the heart, lung, skin. Okay, this is new for me. I didn't know it can infect the heart, lung, skins and muscle as well. So it's a long-term autoimmune disease. You should remember that autoimmune diseases are not easily curable, and mostly are not curable. So you just have to think of ways to stop your immune system from activating. Like in case of face, it is like eczema, it is okay, you just have to moisturize your face whole day and whole night, so nothing can get to your face and start that attack. But in case of diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, it's difficult because you can't see the trigger, like what is causing the immune system to go like attack your own cells. So it is pretty difficult, and you need constant medication for it to be controlled. So agriculture microbiology is concerned with the impact of microorganisms on agriculture. Yeah, agriculture microbiology try to combat plant diseases. Okay, wherever we go, we are first going to deal with the negative impacts rather than the positive impacts. So they combat plant diseases that attack important food crops and work on methods to increase soil fertility, crop yield, and study the role of microorganisms living in the digestive tract of the ruminants such as cattle. Ruminant. Still again, like I can get they are talking about the organisms that eat the plants like grass things like agriculture plants like they are ruminants, but again I am still going to search because what is ruminant again? What is this spelling? What? I thought they were all, yeah. Any mammal or the suborder Ruminantia order are, oh, this is so botany, which include, this is not what we are talking about. Are the herbivorous, grazing or browsing? Yeah, understand. No, this is understandable. Herbivorous animals, grazing animals that is involved with the agriculture, right? So they don't just study the agriculture and the microorganisms that attack or involved in the agriculture directly, but they are also studying the organisms that are related, are connected to the agriculture in one way or another way, and they study the microorganisms that live in their digestive tract because the agriculture, like the plants they eat, of course that's related to agriculture. So even if they go into the stomach of their body, they have to study that. Currently there is a great interest in using the bacterial and viral insect pathogens as substitutes for the chemical pesticides. Yeah, pesticides has caused a lot of problem. These are chemicals, and like if they drain into the water, specifically in water, or goes into the foods, they have heavy metals in it, and it kind of changes our body into the abnormal ways. So they are thinking of, instead of using the pesticides, they are using of viral or insect or the bacterial pathogens, like that could combat the pests that will attack the plants. So how much? So first they study the food crops and things and like diseases. They first study the diseases, plant diseases. Then they study the microorganisms involved in that, and then they study the combat ways, like how to combat that disease. Then if you leave these alone and if you just come towards the non-diseasing problems, and that is how to fertile soil, because microorganisms are the cause of one of the cause of the soil fertility. They degrade the organic matter that is locked and make the soil fertile by providing it the nutrients in unlocked form. And of course if the nutrient is like given right and the diseases are prevented, the crop yield can come out right, and then the digestive tract of the animals, that herbivorous animals, and the substitute ways of chemical pesticides. Then the ecology. I think ecology is not that much different from, no, sorry, it is different. Agriculture just deals with the plants and things like that. While microbial ecology, everything in the environment that is concerned and their relationship. So with the relationship between the microorganisms and the components of their living and non-living habitats. Like it involves everything, guys, everything. Everything that is related. Like be it the living and be it the non-living. So microbial, but the microorganisms need to be involved in that abiotic and biotic components. So microbial ecologists study the global and local contribution of microorganisms to what? To carbon, nitrogen and sulfur cycles, and we are going to study that in the future chapters. The study of pollution effects on microorganisms also is important because of the impact these organisms have on the environment. All right. So when you study the pollution, like the microbial ecologists don't study just the pollution, but they study pollution in the perspective of microorganisms. Why is it important? Because of course it affects our environment. And give me a second. I need to cross out this. All right. So microbial ecologists are employing the microorganisms in bioremediation to reduce pollution. Bioremediation, guys, there is one thing that you use chemicals or plants to degrade organic matter that is locked into the soil, but then there is microorganisms you use to convert those locked and not degradable compounds into, to degrade it into some useful compounds, and that is the bioremediation. That is the use of microorganisms to change that unuseful compounds into useful compounds. And in this case, if you see the bio can be microorganisms that hadn't gone under the genetic engineering, under the genetic mutation, but and it can be and it can involve the microorganisms that we engineer, that we design in a certain way to degrade the things that we want. Like scientists are working on the plastic degradable microorganism, right? And that will only happen if they change their genetic material, or if they make them resistant in kind of way to the plastic and to make them degraded, right? And yeah, that reduce pollution. Like I told you, plastic is just a big hurdle that still the microorganisms, I think, aren't able to do on larger scales to degrade. But other than that, the organic matter can also be waste, the inorganic matter can also be waste, and microorganisms can degrade it. And it's better to bioremediate or degrade it by microorganisms rather than chemicals to not pollute the environment. Then the food. So scientists working in a food and dairy microbiology try to prevent the microbial spoilage of food and the transmission of foodborne diseases such as botulism and salmonellosis. So these are common, salmonellosis and botulism. So they are preventing not just the spoilage of food, but also the transmission of foodborne disease. Foodborne means the diseases that are transferred through the food. Alright, like that can't come, like the diseases don't come out of no thin air, they come out of food that is infected by the botulism and salmonellosis. I think botulism is a disease in which the bacteria botulinum produce toxin or something. Wait, let me search it still. What is botulism? Yeah, it's because of the toxin, right? Clostridium botulinum, a bacteria. Yeah, serious illness. Oh, sorry, I said it's common, but it seems like it's rare. Okay, it might seem common to me because I read it and I studied it. So yeah, difficulty breathing, muscle paralysis, and even death. Guys, anything related to the toxins that affects the body's nerves, just think of it as dangerous. The nervous system is just so sensitive, or you can say so easy to be damaged. Like you damage one nerve cells, two nerve cells, and it just goes throughout your body. And this is just the toxins. Okay, one we studied the botulism, while the other one is the salmonellosis. I think this one is just pretty common. Salmonella. Here it is, salmonellosis. I don't think it produces the toxins. It's an infection with the bacteria, right? It's by bacteria in the intestines of cells and by eating foods contaminated with animal feces. Yeah, it's foodborne diseases. If you don't wash your food or if you don't cook it right, like the bacteria can go into you. But what actually does it do? Like what areas does the salmonella infects? Which the bacteria invades the body and cause, like I know what kind of body part does it go through. Stomachs. Okay, they survive. They are pretty okay. So there is a salmonella and there is a streptococcus or oh wait, there is one other form that are pretty resistant type of bacteria and that produce spores as well. So there's habits, but the bacteria is in the lamina propria. So they do produce the toxins and pro-inflammatory cytokines, inflammatory reaction. I see. So the previous one, the botulism, caused the neurotoxins, right, that infects the nerves, but this one is for the immune, immune toxins that causes abnormal inflammation, right, the inflammation that we don't need. Okay, so they are, not only the microorganisms, like the positive aspects of them in the food, like, in producing yogurt. Here it is, to make food such as cheese, yogurt, pickles, beers, like these are all fermentations. So not only that, but that also are involved with the studying of botulism, salmonellosis type of disease, or any kind of diseases that are foodborne. In the future, microorganisms themselves may become a more important nutrients for source for the livestock and humans. Like I said, this book is not that updated, so I mean there are the, what do you call this? The generations? No, seventh generation edition. Yeah, here it is written. So this is the seventh edition. I think there are 12. How much editions more, which is updated? But I just got my hands on this one, so I'm studying this. So for now, there is a, protein that we use as a source, and that is fungi. We call it corn. I'll just show you. And there is the chlorella that we eat. Like there are so many we eat, and these are microorganisms. This is fungi. Look at this. Meat-free vegetarian vegan products made from mycoprotein, right? Myco. Wait, why aren't they showing it to me? Corn. Mycoprotein. We all know about the, like these are so rich. Looks like people don't eat it directly that much, but they use it in these kind of things to enhance their food quality. There is a chlorella. There is, why did I forgot? There are a lot of it, really a lot of it. I just studied about, I think, 40 of the microorganisms that are involved in the food that are eaten as food directly. So in 1929, Alexander Fleming discovered that the fungus Penicillium. 1929. This is the talk of very very ancient times, that the fungus Penicillium produced what he called penicillin, the first antibiotic that could successfully control the bacterial infection. Although it took the World War II for scientists to learn how to mass produce it, scientists soon found other microorganisms capable of producing additional antibiotics, as well as compounds such as citric acid, vitamins, B12, monosodium glutamate. So, what is said in this paragraph is that Alexander Fleming first discovered the penicillin, right? And the antibiotic, but he couldn't, mass produce it, like he couldn't produce it in larger quantities. It took World War II. World War II means people were, infected, they were injured and they were infected by the microorganisms, and specifically bacteria. They go through wounds very quickly. So this made the scientists to work hard to make the antibiotics in the larger quantities. And when they were doing it, now fungi don't just produce one kind of antibiotic. They are also producing not just the other type of antibiotics, but they also produce other types of compounds like, citric acid, vitamin B12, and this kind of thing. And not just fungi, there are bacteria that can do that. So first they learned that they could mass produce it, and then they found out that there could be other components or compounds that they can produce by using these microorganisms. And this happened in after the 1929 or the World War II. So today industrial microbiologists uses the microorganisms to make products such as antibiotics, vaccines, steroids, alcohols, and other solvents, vitamins, amino acids, and enzymes. You just name this product and the industrial microbiologist will just engineer the microorganisms to do or to create what you want them to. Although the protein should be prokaryotic type, you can say, like it shouldn't be that complex for the microorganisms to make. So well, the technology these days are working fine, so we can even make the proteins that need post transcriptional or post-translational modification, and is by using the insect cell lines or things like that. So where did that go? Yeah, so they don't just use the microorganisms to produce these kind of products, but they also use to identify microbes of used industry. Okay, so they don't just limit themselves to the bacteria that are already discovered. They are striving to find more bacteria to work with for culturing them, isolating the products that they make, yeah, with desirable traits. It's better to find out the superior version of what you have. So microbiologists working in the microbial physiology and biochemistry study many aspects of the biology of microorganisms. So they are saying the microbiologists that are involved in the physiology and the biochemistry, microbial physiology and biochemistry, they study usually the biology of microorganisms. Physiology has, the functional type of relation, while the biochemistry has the structural type of relationship. So together they study the biology of microorganisms. They may study the synthesis of antibiotics, which comes under the physiology, and toxins, and the microbial energy production. Now, the microbial energy production can come into the biochemistry as well as physiology, but not that much under the physiology, but more under the biochemistry. The ways in which microorganisms survive harsh environments, and yeah, that's come under the physiology as well, and a little bit biochemistry, because the chemical structures provide them to survive it. Usually it's genetic mutation that because of that they survive the harsh environmental conditions. Microbial nitrogen fixation and the effects of chemicals and physical agents on the microbial growth and survival. Okay, so this growth and survival kind of things comes under the bacterial physiology as well. So not the bacterial, the microbial. There comes this big deal: microbial genetics and the molecular biology. Guys, people just started learning how to manipulate the genetics, and you wouldn't believe what they are doing with this. They use different kinds of mutation in the microorganisms, and they are advancing towards a world which I don't think we can imagine. We are causing mutants, we are producing mutants that can do whatever human wants. Like, we are changing the genetics and so much easily nowadays than when we were, in the early times. Like, even in the microbial genetics, like, we can change the genes of your physical appearance and even the diseases that you have. So genetic diseases, like in the previous era, that we didn't know what to do with these genetic disorders. Like, they could be just passed through one human to another or one organism to another, and you just don't know how to cope up with that, right? But now we just change the gene. Like, we study the genes of the embryo that you have, and if their gene have some kind of abnormalities, we just change it. And okay, so I am going towards the enhanced genetics, right? We are talking about the microbial genetics. Like, microbial genetics are used to change the genes of the microbes to produce insulin or products that humans need for their purpose. And molecular biology, yeah, in molecular biology you just need to study the micro level of everything in this world. Like, in case of humans, they do have molecular level, and that is their cells and their organelles, their mitochondria, their genes, their everything. So, and of course, microorganisms, like, they are just a single cell. So in my molecular biology, we don't just study the human cells, we study the animal cells, we study the microbial cells, and everything that comes under or inside these cells. Focus on the nature of genetic information and how it regulates the development and function of the cells and organisms. Microbial genetics, like genes, how does it regulate the development and function of the cells and organisms? Or, like, if you know how it works, then after that you can change things. The use of microorganisms has been very helpful in understanding the genetic structure and function. Exactly, they are small, their genetic structure is small, and they are easy to understand the genetic function since they are controllable in the lab. Microbial geneticists play an important role in applied microbiology because they develop techniques that are useful in agriculture microbiology, industrial microbiology, food and dairy microbiology, everything microbiology. Just change the genetic material of microorganisms of one field and you will get something, and that's all because of the microbial genetics study. Like in case of agriculture, you just change the mutation, change the genetic material, and like put the antibiotic resistant gene taken from the bacteria or something and put it in the plant, and they will be antibiotic resistant as well. Or you can take the pest resistant genes from the bacteria to the insert it into plants, and they will become pest resistant as well. In industrial, you just change the genetic material of the plant and they will microbe, and they will create what you want it to be, what gene you inserted into them. While in food and dairy, yeah, you change them and they will do fermentation as you want. The medicine, yeah, exactly, they will produce antibiotics or things like that, so they are involved in everything. Let me see what these scientists are. Rita Clowell Murray, Stanley Falco, Martha Ho, Friedrich Niedert. I think we are done with the scope. So, like, let's summarize it first and then study what these scientists are. So, when we talk about the scope and relevance of microbiology, we talk about all of these fields that are involved in the microorganisms or their working or their growth. So there first comes the normal medical microbiology, which is of great importance since it is the start of microbiology, since it was involved in the diseases and people's deaths were involved. The second was public health microbiology, like it's only related to the communicable diseases. In immunology, we study everything about the immune system or how the microorganisms, not just the microorganisms, but the allergens and the pathogens and autoimmune diseases are involved in immunology. While industrial microbiology deals with making products and identifying the microbes that could be useful to produce the other products. And the microbial physiology is involved in the working of the microorganisms, how the microorganisms work or how are they grown. While the microbial genetics and the molecular biology involves everything on the molecular level and the modification or regulation of the genetics or everything. The ecology is involved in everything related to the microorganisms in the environment, whether abiotic or biotic, and if it is involved in the cycle, be it if it's involved in the diseases, be it in agriculture microbiology, yeah, plants, every microorganism and plants that are involved in one another or any other kind of organism that is involved within them is included into the agriculture microbiology. While I don't think I have, yeah, they are saying, yeah, Alexander Fleming, like this is the Alexander Fleming that this is written here is, mostly in the industrial microbiology and the World War II, a mass production of the antibiotics. So that's what we studied. Let's go through the scientists, contributors. So they are talking about the important contributors. So first is Rita Clowell has studied the genetics and ecology of marine bacteria, such as Vibrio cholera, and Vibrio cholera caused the cholera, a disease, a gastrointestinal disease, and helped establish the field of marine biotechnology, guys. So Rita Clowell, I think people studying marine microbiology will know her. Rita Clowell, she studied the genetic and ecology of marine bacteria, right? The Vibrio cholera. R.G.E. Murray has contributed greatly to the understanding of bacterial cell envelopes and bacterial taxonomy. Oh my god. So this guy that made the work more for us. Like taxonomy is such a, what do you call it, field. There are just bacteria lining about one another, below one another, and we are finding out the taxonomy of them, how they are related to one another. So he contributed greatly into that, and not just the bacterial taxonomy but the envelopes, right? Usually bacteria has cell wall, right? They don't need that much for protection, but in advanced bacteria they do have some envelopes, like the transparent types of the jelly type, something lipopolysaccharide or peptide, no, made from something else, and that is, yeah, they're involved and they don't have receptors on that, so they can get passed through the immune system because of that. So he studied that. Stanley Fellow has advanced our understanding on how bacterial pathogen cause diseases, right? So he just did what normal microbiologists were doing in the medical microbiology. So he enhanced our knowledge on how the bacterial pathogens cause diseases, like how they do it actually. Martha Howe has made the fundamental contribution to our knowledge of bacteriophage moo. Moo. What is moo actually? I need to know. Moo. Excuse me. This is what? This is bacteriophage. Oh, I remember it. Wait, I slightly remember this guy. What did I write? Moo bacteriophage or phage is a virus that infects bacteria and is also transposon. It is temperate phage, meaning it can infect in two different ways. Alright. I get it what they are talking about. So there are some kind of viruses, right, that attacks the bacteria. Then that is known as bacteriophage. Then there is one bacteria that is named as moo bacteriophage, right? That is named as moo, and it is a temperate phage. Temperate phage means they live with bacteria and divide with them, but they don't cause the bursting of the bacteria unless there is some trigger for them to do that. So she enhanced our understanding of the bacteriophage moo. This, I think, she studied, or she was doing research on this bacteriophage. Look at her. What is she doing? Is this a bacteriophage or things like that? I don't know. What is she holding in her? It may be just a random picture. Right, we don't need to, like, I am not expert on the morphology of these colonies or these growths on the petri dishes. So let's just see her face. Friedrich Niedert, wait, has contributed to microbiology through his work on the regulation of E. coli physiology, metabolism, and by co-authoring advanced textbooks. Guys, E. coli is such a common bacteria, but it's so important. It is used like everywhere in the microbiology, especially in the industrial microbiology, right? Now it may be not that common, but at that time, E. coli just divide rapidly. Like, it's so better for experimenting on it. Like 20 minutes. 20 minutes is all it needs for one generation to change into two generations, right? So he studied the physiology and metabolism, and yeah, he wrote the textbooks. This guy, right? That's why. Okay, sorry, I'm not saying anything. So Jean Brinkley. So this is this girl, Jean or Jean? Jean. Jean. I don't know. Brinkley has studied the regulation of glutamate and glutamine metabolism. Oh, guy, this is definitely related to the biochemistry. These are actually, let me tell you, glutamate and glutamine are the amino acids, right? So she studied about the regulation of their metabolism, like the metabolisms that they are involved in it. Helped found the Pennsylvania State University. Helped found, okay. I was thinking about the founding means she find something, right? She found something. Okay, she founded the university, Pennsylvania State University of the Biotechnology Institute, and is now finding the biotechnological use of the sacrophilic, cold-loving, psychrophilic microorganisms. So, I think she is dead. This book is way too old. John Brinkley. May you guys live in peace. John. I'll be surprised if they are, if they are still alive. John Brinkley. Here it is. American microbiologist. Passed away on Tuesday, July 9, 2019. Okay, so she isn't that ancient, but she passed away. By the way, what was that? What? Sylvania? biotechnology or something. University of this state, Pennsylvania state of something was like that, right? No, let me copy that exactly from here. We don't want problems here. Pennsylvania Institute, Control plus C and Control plus V. Includes by, no, we need to see the diagram. We don't want to study more. Why do all these buildings looks familiar, right? Yesterday we searched for pasture building and it wasn't that much different from this. So this is Hux, this is not. This is Albury College. What are they doing? I didn't ask for here, guys. There. This is the Pennsylvania State Biotechnology Center. Finally found it. Here. This building. This is just a map. I don't think it's created or something. Here. Is this the exact picture? Alright, we are not diving. It's not like I'm going there. So this was it, the scope of microbiology, and this is the end for 1.6. We have left only one topic, and that is the future of microbiology. And after that, we are going to summarize the whole chapter. And I mean by summarizing is, you know, the questions that are asked in the after the few paragraphs, or like critical thinking questions. So we are going to do that, and it should be interesting, right? I hope I don't feel terribly at that. So bye.